Like a Pro video by Lineage House. I'm Marchy.
And I'm Frenchy.
And today we're going to be going over some curls. I'm going to be using the flat iron.
And I'm going to do our curling iron technique. So I'm going to get into our custom Lineage beachy curl. I'm going to use our 1.25 inch curling iron. We like to use the extra long barrel for this technique. So we're going to start by sectioning. We like to go in and we like to make sure that everything's nice and clean when we're doing our curling techniques. Especially when you're doing it at home, it's going to allow you to be more precise and clean. It helps the technique go a lot quicker too if you just section it out. So we're going to go on a diagonal.
And so for the flat iron, we're going to be doing the exact same type of sectioning.
Okay, so we're going to clip that away. Basically, sectioning and clipping each section as we go is going to help us move through this really quickly. So I'm going to spray in a heat styling spray. I'm using the living proof one. This also has a smooth aspect to it. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to kind of just spray everywhere to start. This is going to protect my hair up to 450 degrees, which is what we want to be curling at. I'm also going to spray in the Kevin Murphy Flex hairspray. So this is going to be a light hold, so this is good to work with as you're curling. So I'm going to go through and just kind of give my hair a light mist everywhere.
I'm also going to be using the Flex. I'm not going to use the heat styling spray that comes with the smoothing aspect from Living Proof, just because my hair is pretty fine and oily and I don't want to weigh it down. So I'm going to be using something, just a really nice light flexible hold from Kevin Murphy.
So I'm going to go in and I'm going to start with my first section. So I'm going to take about an inch section. Okay. And we want to start the curl pretty close to the root. If you find your hair has like a little bit of frizz and you want to go through one time and just give it a quick swipe just to get any frizz out of the way. And then we're going to go in and we're going to do a half turn. And we're going to clip and move down. We're going to unlock the first loop and then continue to move down, turning, and then we're going to unlock that.
Beauty.
Okay. So I'm going to suggest trying that without the curling iron on a few times first. I like to keep my finger on the spring just because we don't want to close it completely. We want to have some bounce to it. And we're going to come around one time, hold for a sec, and then we're going to unlock that first curl, go down, turning, unlock our second loop, and then finish through to the ends.
So if you want to attempt with the flat iron, I have my flat iron at 400. This one does go up to 450, but I just find I don't want to use too much heat on it, especially when you're first starting out. Lower the heat setting so that you don't have too much crimping and clamping to fix up afterwards. So again, I'm going to go in with about an inch and a half section here at the front. I like to start with the front pieces just to get a good idea of what I want. So normally my front sections, I want to be a little bit looser and soft. I don't like anything, we don't like to make anyone's hair super curly in the front. I find right now the trends are nice and soft. So if you are right-handed, this is probably gonna be easier for you on this side. So technically this is my left side that I'm starting with. So I'm going to go in, I'm gonna come across my body. I'm going to clamp close to my eye. I don't want to go too high, so I want to keep everything nice and soft. I'm going to clamp, I'm going to do a turn, I'm going to use both hands, I'm going to pull down, and I'm just going to let the ends fall out. Okay. So if you have longer hair, you might want to go in again, right where that curl ended, and continue. And that's just going to clean up anything that's too straight without making anything too curly as well. So I'm gonna go in and do that again.
And with both our techniques, we're working away from the face in the front. So sometimes when you're looking in the mirror, it can get confusing. So I'm gonna show you on the other side how to make sure. So you want to ensure that the hair is in front of the barrel. The wrong way against the clamp, you're gonna get a crimp.
So I'm going in, I'm walking in this way. My hand is in the front. My barrel is going in, clamping, half turn, use both hands to secure. Hold down and let go. Okay, so I'm gonna just touch that piece up again, hold down and let go. And so here, I'm going in. I am keeping the curling iron vertical as much as possible as well. So we're gonna go in. I'm gonna do full turn. Again, I'm pretty close to my root. Turning, and then we're gonna unlock the first loop. Keep turning again. We're gonna unlock our second loop, and then we're gonna just pull through onto the end. So I am going to go ahead and work on my next side here as well. So now it's going to be a little bit different as well with your hand placement. So I'm going to still be using my right hand because that's my dominant hand. And this time I'm getting nice and close. My body, my elbow is in here. So I'm going to clamp. Again, my hands are in front. So same thing here. I'm not starting like this. I'm starting like this, just like I did on the other side. So same motion. I'm clamping forward, and then I'm turning away from the face, okay? So on this side, my hand was going this way. On this side, my wrist is going backwards. And you're keeping your flat iron pretty vertical too. Yeah. If anyone has a struggle with keeping your flat iron or keeping your hair on the flat iron, you can begin to tilt your flat iron a little bit more horizontal, okay? Yeah, I always find when you're not getting the proper curl, if you want to make sure that the hair is in the middle of the curling iron, same thing with the flat iron. Yeah. You want to be in that center part because that's where the most heat is on the tool. So if you're falling over here or over here, you want to use your other hand to keep the hair in the center of that iron. A lot of the time during our like a pro hands-on classes in the salon, we do find that some people have that issue with keeping it too vertical, and then the hair starts to fall off like this, where they're pulling and pulling and pulling, and then the hair falls off too soon. So that means that you do need to tilt it back a little bit, just so you have a better angle, and then you're gonna pull down that way and let it go. One of the other things that we see a lot too is if we're going over the same section multiple times, what happens is like we're changing the makeup of that hair. So once you've gone over it a few times, you might find that you have to wet down that piece and re-blow dry it because it might not be able to curl anymore if it's been like heated up too much over time. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going in. So I took my second diagonal section, just back behind my ear, going in again with an inch section on the top. I'm gonna start about an inch away from my root. Again, I'm curling away from my face. I'm doing one full turn, and then I'm gonna work down. I'm gonna unloop that. Again, another full turn, and then I'm gonna unlock that loop, and then I'm gonna just keep turning down towards my ends. You'll notice as we go too that we're not combing out our curls. So we want to let everything cool down as much as possible. So we're going to keep working. We've already sprayed a light hold hairspray in there. And that's where it's nice to have a light hold hairspray and a strong hold, because we're going to finish with strong hold when we're done. Something that I find that people really obsess about is every little piece looking the same. But in this case, when you want things to be really soft and undone, don't worry so much. If one, piece looks a little bit straighter on the ends compared to the other piece, that's okay. Leave it if you feel good about it. You got a good middle turn in there. Leave it until the end. Once you tousle it, it works and it blends and everything looks really good. Again, I find sectioning and keeping any hair that you're not working on out of your way really helps with being able to complete this.
because what happens is when other hair is coming into play that you're not working on, it gets really confusing and you get tangled and you get stuck. You only want to have down what you're working on. If you're still finding it too hard to have all of this down, take the section that you're gonna curl and then also clip this away. So you literally only have the piece you're working on.
Yeah, so I have my next diagonal section here. I'm going with my head shape. So to make it easier, I am going to split that horizontally and make a little subsection here. I know the back can be a little bit more difficult for people if you feel like you can't really get in there. So I'm going to show you. I'm behind the ear now. I'm going to clip this away. So when you're working into the back, grab about the same size of a section here, and you're going to turn your head to the side so that you can almost see fully what you're doing. So I know a lot of people find like, oh, I can't see, and then they're, you know, your elbow's up and you're getting a little bit confused. So you're gonna turn right to the side. You're gonna pull this forward as much as you can. So now I can see pretty much from my root to my end. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna clamp, I'm turning, keep my hands close together, I'm pulling down and letting that go, keeping it nice and soft. I'm gonna do that one more time on the ends, just for a little extra bend. And there we go. Okay.
Just this last section that I'm doing in the front. Again, I'm turning. I'm doing pretty much a full turn on my length of hair, and then I'm releasing that loop. Again, moving down, doing my second loop, unlocking that, and then just moving down through the ends.
And the smaller sections, the beachier you're gonna feel. The bigger the section, the bigger the waves are gonna feel. So I'm going to grab this subsection again. Clamping. Again, I'm still keeping these away from my face. Half turn, pulling down. I have a slight angle on the flat iron. And clamp the exact same way, but I'm gonna turn the way that I would on the other side. So I'm gonna clamp that in. I'm gonna turn towards my face, and I'm gonna pull down and forwards. So now you have this one piece that's going in a different direction. I'm gonna finish off the ends.
Do you find sometimes you do that and sometimes you don't? Like,
Yeah.
you want it all to go back.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to do that. This is gonna give a little bit more of like a broken up feel. If you want it a little bit softer and everything to be kind of flowing the same, then you can do all one direction.
I'm gonna do the same thing, except I'm gonna put my piece going in the opposite direction in the middle of my pieces. So now I've taken my third section on a diagonal behind my ear. So we're gonna have one piece here, then we're gonna have a middle curl, and then we're gonna have a bottom one. So this middle one is gonna be my opposite direction one. Okay, so we're gonna start at the top. My full turn, releasing my top loop, another full turn, releasing my top loop, and then my final loop. Okay, then I'm going into my middle piece. So now I'm going to turn the opposite direction. So I'm putting my curling iron in with the clamp at the back of the section, and I'm going to turn towards my face.
A lot of people have a problem where they find they're getting a crimp in their hair, and that's because, like she said, you're putting the hair in, but then you're trying to turn the barrel the opposite way.
So if you go in here, if you bend the hair this way, you're gonna get a crimp from the clamp. So we wanna go in the same direction so that we don't get that.
So I subsectioned everything off. So again, I'm coming in with my right hand. I'm coming from underneath. I'm clamping down. I'm using both hands. I'm keeping that flat iron nice and closed. I'm turning, making sure this hair is staying on, and I'm pulling down. So that can be another little trick. If you find that the ends of the hair are kind of falling out, you can grab, turn, make sure you hold on to that piece and keep it right in the middle there as you go down. Just go back through just on the ends and just kind of soften that a little bit.
The reason why we're showing these two techniques together is because we find when people come to the classes, sometimes they come in thinking they really want to do curling iron on their hair, but then we kind of show them and they realize that the flat iron works better. So if you're really just at home practicing and not getting ready to go somewhere, try each technique on each side and see what works better for your length, your texture. It definitely works better to use the flat iron when you have wave in your hair or curl to help smooth anything out. But if you're going in on pretty much straighter, smoother hair, it might be better to use your curling iron.
Yeah.
So
I'm now at the same section I was on the other side where I changed my direction. My palm facing forwards now instead. Instead of starting this way where we go back, I'm gonna start this way and I'm gonna go forwards. So back of my hand, I'm clamping in and I'm turning towards my face, keeping the hair on the flat iron, grabbing this piece here that's out, and I'm pulling down. And I'm just gonna let that
split the back in half. So just under where your head starts to round, just straight across. I find when I'm working with some of my clients, they find that this hair that's already been curled gets in their way. So if that's the case for you, you can literally just take a clip and clip that out of your way so that you can see a lot better in the back. I'm gonna go in, I think I'm just gonna give it a little spray back here again with the light hold hairspray.
Yeah, so I'm gonna follow Frenchy's direction here so that I make this a lot easier for myself. I'm gonna clip. So I split the back in half. So I have two pieces, one here, one here. If you have more hair, you might have to do, you know, one piece, two pieces this way, and then two pieces this way. Okay. So I have less hair, so I'm just gonna do one piece. So I'm gonna pull that out, turning my face the opposite way. Going in on my clamp, my hand is in front, doing a half turn, using my second hand to keep everything secure, pulling down, letting go. I'm gonna go to the second side here, same thing. I'm gonna come in, my hand is in front, I'm turning away, using that second hand to secure, and I'm gonna pull down. Go.
I'm splitting the back top piece into two now, just so that I don't.
If you find that your curls fall out really fast, this is a good time to do anything else around the house, get dressed, put your makeup on, anything like that.
Give it like a spray with a strong hold hairspray and try not to touch it once you spray with strong hold hairspray.
Yeah, you want to let it kind of settle in. Don't want to be touching it when it's still wet.
10 minutes is usually good for me.
Let's do it. See you soon.
I really like using my wet brush to break up my curls. So I'm gonna go in and do that.
And I really like just to use my hands. I find I don't like to brush them out too much. I still like to shake it up and give it a nice loose effect, but my curls don't hold really, really well. So I'm not gonna go in and brush like crazy. I'm just going to take my hands, I'm gonna go underneath and I'm gonna shake at the root. And then I'm gonna pull through. Shake and pull. I decided I'm gonna go in with the touchable spray wax from Kevin Murphy. This one or the bedroom hair I usually use. This is just going to revive my roots a little bit now. So I'm gonna lift my root up and spray. pull that over. Take a second horizontal section. Spray. I don't want to use too much. And I'm just going to give that a little shake. And I find it's like backcombing in a bottle. Ooh, really good. Well, we hope that you guys try this out and that it helps. Please let us know if you have any questions. Message us, let us know how you like the video, and we'll see you next time. Toodaloo.